before the show started, I did a little copy-paste snarky comment about the Tyreek Hill contract because I've been thinking about this a lot. I went back and looked at the quotes. We played the sound earlier in the month when he, in theory, was talking about wanting to retire with the Dolphins, but then he throws in there, sign me. That contract of his that is fake and phony and fugazi at $30 million per year, and I always bristle when we show the graphic, which means they're probably going to show it again. It's $25 million a year, not $30 million a year. You take away the $45 million final year, and it's $25 million per year. He's almost been caught by Nico Collins now. He's been surpassed by Amon-Ra St. Brown and A.J. Brown. He's going to be blown out of the water by Justin Jefferson. I bring all that up because for a guy who's been a great player, there's got to be a certain amount of mirror on the wall that happens when they hit 30 because he's 30 now. And how much longer are you the best? How much longer are you the man? And you may want to continue to be the man, but sorry, there's younger guys, faster guys, better guys, and you just have to deal with it. You were that guy once, and now you're not. And I think that applies to Aaron Rodgers, walking into the locker room, grizzled at 40, all these guys who are almost half his age, one guy who is half his age. I remember with Tom Brady, like when he was doing the get rid of the ball and
duck and chuck a little.
Position.
Right.
He's got guys half his age and twice his size chasing him around. Guys who could be his son.
Right. No, hey, listen, it's a eye-opening, soul-shaking type of thing when you get to that age of like, wait, I'm this old, right? You're grateful to be playing, but you're also like, gosh, I can't believe I've lost this skill. I'm not as explosive as I was in certain areas. And for guys like superstar athletes like Hill and Rodgers, it's tough to deal with, right? That's what we talked about with Rodgers a little bit of like, will he be able to? He wants to play magic ball still, and sidearm and make magic plays like Mahomes. And can he still do that? Right? Where does that disconnect? Now the Tyreek thing you talk about, right? That's not disconnected. He's getting up there. We can see light at the end of the tunnel. But damn, I mean, we were talking 2,000 yards last year, right? And Mike McDaniel's on line one. He said, thanks, Florio, for stirring up crap and trying to antagonize Tyreek Hill. I'm sure he loves you this morning for that.
Mike might have to sell his RS7 to pay Tyreek Hill.
He might have to. But, I'm sure Tyreek Hill's a little antsy about what he's seeing in the market and him and going, wait, what have I been doing on the human highlight films ever since I've been in Miami? I've changed the team around. And, I'm sure he would like a little bit of a sprinkle of cash on top of what he's making right now for the next year or two to add to his average year for salary.
And here's another wrinkle as well, because I was looking at the yearly payouts, and they structure these deals, and who knows what they're thinking of when they do the cash outflow in each year. But it just so happens that this year, his cash in hand for this season is south of $20 million. Now, he's gotten big money in the past, and he had $50 million plus fully guaranteed at signing. But it's very easy to compartmentalize if you're the player and say, I'm getting $19 million in
I'm only getting this year. Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm doing all this same stuff that I do every year, and this is all I'm getting this year? Are you kidding me? So I think he's already, look, when he said sign me, he meant pay me. When he was talking about, I want to retire in Miami, sign me. You got 3 years left on your contract. No, you're saying pay me. That's just something to watch, because I think when the Jefferson deal gets done, we mentioned this yesterday, that's going to have the same impact as the Devontae Adams deal did. And if he isn't already saying, I want more, I want more, I want more, he will be. And now's the time to do it, because, Chris, the mirror on the wall is getting ready.
Right.
May not be saying that Tyreek Hill is no longer the fastest of them all yet, but it's coming. So what does that mean? We talk about this all the time. Get yours while you can. Because very soon, he's not going to be able to get what he could get if he drew a line in the concrete, as some would say right now.
Yeah, well, brilliant saying. I don't know who you would have got that from, but brilliant. I like it. I'm going to start saying it on the regular. But it's coming. It's coming down to the end. And as a player, you do panic a little bit in those situations. Right? I mean, wait, I only got a few more years here to really strike while the iron's hot, where I got the leverage. I'm still really good. They need me. And that's where, we talk about this all the time. We were hitting it on yesterday where, yeah, you want to be selfish and think about yourself and be a businessman because that's all you got. And at the same time, he's probably going, damn, I mean, they got Tua, and I want our team to be good and all of that. But, man, this is going to be a tough pill to swallow when he sees how much farther behind he is than Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. And, yeah, I would think at some point after those contracts are signed, we hear a little bit more down in Miami about Tyreek Hill wanting a little extra or something to, close that gap to a degree.
Hey, Chris, to get back to our very robust discussion from yesterday about cap and player contract and the Julio Jones, Matt Ryan thing. If they all of a sudden are paying $50 million a year to Tua, and here's Tyreek, the best player on the team, at south of 20 this year, that's a problem. Well, I just think that we're focused on Tua, but we should also have at least an eye on Tyreek, because that contract didn't age well, in part because that contract was never what it was cracked out to be. That's the danger of doing a contract that's got phony bullcrap back end. It's never what it was sold as, which means it's going to become obsolete even faster. And now he's been caught, and he's almost been caught by Nico Collins. He's got to be looking at that saying, Nico Collins, are you kidding me? This guy's almost making as much money as I am. Are you kidding me? He's got the same agent as Nico Collins. So I think even that one, which is right on his heels, because he's at 25 and Nico's at a real 24.25. I think that, hey, Dolphins fans, look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to stir trouble. I'm just naturally, organically stirring trouble because the trouble's there. We're just pointing out the fact that that's where this is going. I don't know how we got there. I think this is just about aging players.
It was aging players.
Windows of opportunity.
Right.
Where's your window to get that last big contract? For Aaron Rodgers, look, he gave up $30 million or whatever it was last year.
But the Tyreek situation there with Miami and everything that's going on there, man, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, Miami is at a spot here where we know they're good. It doesn't feel like they're as good as last year, right? But they still got some big-time difference makers. We know Mike McDaniel's the man and going to have offensive, game plans that'll make our jaws drop and all that, right? We'll see what the defense does and what that is. But, man, I do feel like they are a little bit of a very critical point here for their – somewhat near future and what that looks like between Tyreek, what you're talking about. Jalen Waddle's going to want to be paid with some of these contracts he's seeing out there. He's going to go, what? Like you said, you don't think he's going, wait, Nico Collins got that, right?
Great point.
So you got that. You got Teron Armstead on literally his last leg at left tackle, right? They couldn't even afford to keep the rest of their offensive line. They couldn't keep Christian Wilkins. They got a superstar pass rusher in Jalen Phillips who's coming off an Achilles tear. Bradley Chubb, who they're paying a ton of money, ACL tear. Jalen Ramsey paying big money, getting up there in age. Javon Holland, all pro-ish type of safety, going to want top-of-the-market type of money. I just look at Miami and go, man, these next 12 months are going to be big for them, and I really think dictate what they look like for the next 4 or 5 years after that.
Hey, that's an excellent point, because remember, at the top of the organization is a guy who is migrating fairly deeply into his 80s and may not have a whole lot more patience for a regime that isn't delivering anything beyond the wild card round. And speaking of things not aging well, and look, I want to be very careful here because you and I are both big Mike McDaniel fans. We love the authenticity. We love that he is who he is. He's never going to change. But the reality is this is year 3. And I know from just some of the people that I interact with on a regular basis, you can sense that the McDaniel ask him a question and he talks for 10 minutes thing is wearing thin. It's because it's like, it's not fresh anymore. It's not new anymore.
Sure.
We've seen it before. And there's a certain point where once you get used to this guy who's got a delivery in a way that's so different from any other coach, you can get to the point where it's like, dude, we just answer the freaking question.
Yeah, right.
We just land the plane. Like, are you just strategically taking forever to answer this question so you have to answer fewer questions? Either way, 3 years in, it's like it's not new anymore. It's like anything you buy. Your new car smell goes away. At some point, it's got to drive well.
Yeah.
At some point, it's got to start every day. At some point, it's got to get you to where you want to go all the time. And the Dolphins under Mike McDaniel haven't gotten there. And look, they weren't able to keep Christian Wilkins, which I think was one of the more, like, are you kidding me? Moves of the offseason.
Right.
And they weren't even, I mean, I was talking to somebody from another team.
They weren't even in it, really, right?
Well, at least franchise tag the guy and trade him like the Panthers did with Brian Burns.
Yeah.
At least get something for him now. Trade the guy. If the Raiders are going to pay him what they're going to pay him, they're going to give you a draft pick or two. Somebody's going to give you a significant draft compensation for this guy who just walked right out your door. So, it's alarming on the surface, and I think it's concerning as to how they're managing their cap and how they're going to get through this. What do we do with Tua? I mean, and we've identified this tentacle that comes off of it now, because whatever you do with Tua, you better be ready to do something with Tyreek.
Yeah. Right.
And on the way to doing something with Tua, you might have to do something with Tyreek.
Yeah. No, I agreed. And of course, that's also going to, perk up Jalen Waddle, like we talked about, and cause issues there. They're a fun team to watch. They've been as exciting as anybody there is in football the last few years. But yeah, it's a big year. It really is. This shines off. I think that's the way you said it. Now it's like, hey, we want some little bit of results. The results have been good. They're in a tough division. We know that it's going to be tough this year too. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I would think, owner would want to see some semblance of, hey, we're turning the corner here, right, this year to be like more than just a wild card contender, but a Super Bowl contender. And we'll see if they can come together and make that kind of push.
McDaniel said after the schedule came out, because they've got multiple outdoor road games from Thanksgiving on, it's an opportunity to change narratives. And it is. It's also an opportunity to confirm narratives, because the last 2 years, they've fallen apart down the stretch. They had that division won. The Bills were dead. The Patriots and Jets were deep in the rearview mirror. Here come the Bills. They steal the division week 18, force the Dolphins to go on the road and play in an open-air meat locker in Kansas City, and that's that. And you just can't, you can't have great regular season and one-and-done playoff for many years before ownership says, we got to find somebody who can take us farther. And I don't mean any disrespect in saying that. We've seen that movie play out time and again. The 50 years I've been following the NFL closely, we've seen it over and over. There's a danger in knocking on the door, because at some point, the failure to kick it in becomes glaring, and out you go. And we find somebody else to come in and finish this job, whether it be, and I don't think Bill Belichick would be a fit with the Dolphins, but there's going to be candidates out there to try to take this team they have and take it to the next level. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.